Prao is one of the poorest districts in Thailand. Over half of the families survive on less than 25 baht per day. That's roughly 75 US cents. Public health issues compound the economic situation. One hospital and 4 doctors serve a widely dispersed population of 54,000 people. Warm Heart Foundation is a non-government, non-profit organization founded in 2008 by Dr. Michael Shafer, Professor Emeritus of Political Science at Rutgers University, and his wife Evelyn Schechter, an MBA graduate from Columbia University and a career veteran of business management and technology startups. According to its website, the organization's goal is to create an enabling environment among its constituent publics in Prao to drive development that is grassroots, holistic, sustainable, green, and directly accountable to community member wants and needs.
Development comes down to a matter of, sustainable improvements in quality of life, with sustainable meaning sustainable within the grasp of the people you're talking about, right? As not requiring outside resources of any sort. Sustainable within the terms of the environment that they live in. And quality of life certainly understood much more broadly than simple economic measures. I think when you come into a community, it's a very sort of iterative process of asking yourself and asking others what exactly you're seeing. I come into a community and I have, of course, a whole set of assumptions about what development would mean and what would be a better life for these people. I look at, what's the quality of the diet that children are eating? What's the quality of life that elderly people have, are they able to get around, or are they stuck in one place? I look at the quality of sanitation and ask, are these people making themselves sick? There are a lot of very practical things that you can ask, but at the same time, you really have to stop and ask people, what do you think is the most important thing that you would like to see changed in your community?
Here, Dr. Shafer talks with Akai Hill Tribe village leaders about their new microenterprise initiative. Warm Heart is trying to negotiate an arrangement in which the villagers replace subsistence farming with growing coffee.
This is a black leaf, okay? Yeah. Does this black leaf occur on the trees that are right here next to the road, or do you find them all the way at the trees at the bottom of the valley?
Warm Heart wants to buy the raw beans from the farmers, process and sell them in international markets as organic and fair trade, and return the profits to the farmers. Before they can do that, Warm Heart has to make sure and consult the farmers to identify root problems from the locals' perspective and figure out how and if their proposal might work.
We're going to be selling this in, we're going to build a market, we'll be selling it in Germany or something, right? And that kind of coffee is going to bring us double the price that normal roasted coffee would be.
ถ้าบอกว่าคนที่ลงไปแล้วเนาะถือคลิปมาก่อนมันก็ยากอยู่เนาะแต่ว่าเราต้องทำให้คนที่อยู่ที่เนี่ยหมุนไปเนาะคนที่ไปแล้วก่อนแล้วไปเราดึงดูดจ่ายของได้ก่อนเป็นอย่างแต่ว่าคนที่อยู่เนี่ยเขาต้องทำให้เขาหาแล้วก็ว่าโอเคทำไปรับจ้างที่อื่นเขาก็มีสตางค์รายได้เข้ามาเขาก็อยู่ได้อยู่เนาะไปอีนี่โอเคลงไปอยู่ตามโลกอย่างเขาอยู่บ้านเขาอยู่ตึกพ่อแม่เขาก็มีเงินใช้อยู่อย่างก็จะเป็นไปได้
Well, I guess we need to move our office up there.
ได้ราคาดี
This kind of communication, interpersonal, intercultural dialogue is necessary for nonprofit change agents like Warm Heart to not only drive development, but also to establish local definitions of what actually constitutes progress. That is, how do village members measure progress, and to what degree do they want to change?
In many of our villages, there's not even cell phone, connections. So unless somebody's walked up to a ridge line and called somebody we know, and we've told them in advance that we need to pass a message up, It's get in the truck and go.
I'm gonna go stand in it. Can you take a picture of me?
All the way down.
No,
There you go.
This is it.
Oh no, all the way down. The other way.
That's where we. I'm
Back,
not standing.
back.
I'm not standing in there.
The Warm Heart Children's Homes provide housing, care, and education to over 30 Hill Tribe children. The kids can't go to school otherwise because their home villages are several hours away from the closest school. Not to mention the roads are unpaved mud tracks. Even if their villages were closer, any kind of rain, which there's a lot of in northern Thailand, makes the trip too dangerous. The land, housing, and part of the funding for the homes are provided by Warm Heart, but the homes are by and large run by locals, hired by Warm Heart to create an environment where the kids will feel at home. They employ 3 house mothers that come from the same villages as the children who cook, clean, and provide a home environment. The resident cook, P. Thai, is also from Prao. Emergency medical training sessions that Warm Heart conducts on the mountain ridges surrounding the Prao Valley also facilitate local participation in their own improvement and development. In villages too remote for professional medical treatment, the only way to treat broken bones, snake bites, and malaria is to train the locals to do it in their home village. Otherwise, the injured and sick have to make a 3-hour ride down the mountain, riding on a motorbike or strapped in the bed of a pickup truck, down to the nearest hospital.
A pulse in the bleeding where it's like boom, boom, boom. With the heart. Yeah. You have to do a tourniquet.
Because if they do not stop bleeding, they will die.
ถ้าเกิดเลือดไม่หยุดเนี่ยเขาจะตายชัวร์ทำใจ
You should take something like a shirt or a blanket.
เอาผ้าห่มหรือไม่ก็เสื้อเชิ้ตก็ได้เสื้อยืดอันนั้นเสื้อ can we use a t-shirt
Yeah, t-shirt's perfect.
ไม่ต้องตัดออกแล้ว
Yep, that's a good thing. Very good. And just tell them that to tighten. They tighten until the bleeding stops.
Until the bleeding stops.
Yeah, like a faucet.
By providing such essential services as education and healthcare, Warm Heart has developed trust and working relationships with villages that allows them to take on more complex projects. Microenterprise projects have become Warm Heart's focus. Along with the coffee project, Warm Heart also works with local silk growers, dyers, and weavers to produce, market, and sell products internationally. The program has tripled the silk farmers and artisans' profits in its first 2 years of operation.
I think the past is tremendously important in community development because people in communities, even communities that are developing, understand themselves as complete entities. They don't see themselves as desperately in need of development. They see themselves as, you know, the children and the grandchildren of people who they grew up respecting. And they see themselves as members of an entire world defined by music and dance and stories and so on. So absolutely the first thing you have to do when you practice community development is to recognize that the community you're working with understands itself as complete, as adult, and not in need of any outside help.